Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Friday. Hope you're getting ready for a fun weekend. For me, we've got NBA playoffs starting, so that's like one of my favorite times of the year. Now we've lost March Madness and winding down. I wanted to talk to y'all today about responsible credit card usage. And some of you are probably going to hear this and have listened to the one I did yesterday on paying off your credit card debt and not carrying those on you. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute. Like some of these things sound like the exact opposite of what you said yesterday. There is, and I just hate to put it this way, but there's only going to be a small number of you that are going to have the willpower to do this. I'm going to get into it here in a second, but I want you all to understand that if you know you cannot get away with doing this, then I absolutely do not want you going down this road. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you might want to use a store card in the case of an emergency. If y'all remember back at the beginning, I told you all that Chris and I had to get a new washing machine because we had oil leaking into the drum in the water and it was staining our clothes, and it was not something that was fixable for a reasonable price. So we went to Lowe's and we picked out a modest washing machine. It wasn't the cheapest thing, but dear God, it was way away from the high end. We spent $500, and those things go up to thousands. And what we did was we opened a Lowe's credit card because they had 12 months, no interest if you paid off in those 12 months. So talking about interest here for a second, in the world of finance, we call that the cost of capital. Okay, so our credit card limit, or how much they'll let us spend, is the capital. And the credit card companies want a cost to that to borrow their money. So when we got to Lowe's and saw that they were running a 12-month no interest, then that means that you are getting to use somebody else's money and not have to pay for that privilege. The interest rate is the fee you pay the company to borrow their money. And I told you all that in November, our inflation rate was right about 2.2%. So the money we're giving them back every month is getting devalued by 2.2%, and we have no cost of capital whatsoever. So what Kristen did was sat down and took the total with tax, and then we had it was no interest for 12 months, and she divided it by 11 and then added that line item into our budget, and we will have it paid off in month 11. Now, the trap when people see these, and this is what I worry about for many of you, is when we did the math, I want to say it came out to be like $62 a month to get it killed in 11 months, even though we have 12. The trap is going to be, we don't have to send that 62 bucks. If I'm not mistaken, the minimum payment on that Lowe's card is $19. And what happens, whether this is a Lowe's card or a Best Buy, Home Depot, whatever, is that when you get to the end of that free period and you have not paid off the balance, then what they do is they go back and retroactively charge you the interest for every month of those 12 months because you didn't pay it off in the agreed upon time. Now, this is way down in the fine print. Nobody ever thinks about reading it. And generally when I help people out that wonder, well, why in the world did my balance go through the freaking roof? It's because you did not satisfy the agreement of the terms to give you free cost of capital or no interest. So if you know that you are disciplined enough to follow that approach, figure out what you need to pay every month, it can be a good way to hold on to your cash reserves and use somebody else's money free. Now, keep in mind when I'm telling you this is something that you can look at down the road. I need you all out of debt. I need you all spending more wisely, and I need you all with an emergency fund before things like this even cross your mind. It's going to sound rude, but I'm in a way different place than many of you all are. So to add another $60 into our budget was not the end of the world or make or break. And it was a way for us not to have to pull that money out of Ally Bank that's earning interest just to get the washer. Okay. So I'm telling you right now, a TV is not a necessity. So don't think, well, I'm going to go to Best Buy and get this TV at no interest. This method of using a card with no interest is meant for those situations in which it's very, very advantageous to you to do it We could have spent the $500 that night, but the fact that they gave us an entire year with no cost to it or no penalty or no anything, we went down that route and held on to our $500 in cash, and it still keeps earning interest every month while we're paying them back. And what we're paying them is getting devalued a little bit every month because of inflation. So my main concern is if you don't have the discipline to do it by the end, you're going to get annihilated with interest charges, and then they're going to start charging you interest every month. And generally on these store cards like that, it's right around 30%. It's what I refer to as financial rape. It's ungodly. The other way of doing this, and this is going to take even more discipline, is Krista and I spend all of our money on a Capital One Venture card. Okay, everything that we buy, if we could put our car payments and house payment on here, I would. We get points for every dollar we spend, and those points accumulate. And what we'd like to do is go to either the Caribbean or Portugal or something like that and do that for free. So right now we have earned, and what's sitting in our balance is $830 in reward points. And I'm only going to talk about the Venture card because I did a lot of research before we went down this road to find out who had the best travel rewards, because travel was what we wanted, and the Venture card was the best. When I was at AT&T, I met a young couple who were doing the same thing, and they had gone to London for free. Plane tickets and hotel room cost them nothing. So Kristen keeps a little spreadsheet that shows what did Travis spend, what did I spend. And at the end of every week, we go in to make a payment and pay that thing off, okay? But again, you cannot fall into the trap of going, well, I just want a new pair of shoes for no good reason. I'm going to put them on my Venture card. Because now you're putting unnecessary stuff on there that's outside of your budget. The things that we are running on this are things that are in our budget, our grocery budget. I do Dollar Shave Club, that's $9 a month, Netflix, HBO Now, her YouTube TV, our meal prep service. Whenever we get gas, go to the grocery, every dime goes on this thing. The last pair of shoes I bought was a pair of Adidas Yeezys, but I had sold some shoes on eBay because I didn't have that in my budget that month. And now where I'm not working and using this money my grandfather gave me, I've got a defined amount and I'm not adding anything to it. So I can't go crazy. So I sold a couple of pairs of shoes. And once that had been paid for and the money was in PayPal, I then went ahead and went up to Champs, ran my Venture card, and on the way out of the mall, opened the app and made the payment for the shoes because I already had the money in PayPal coming to my bank. But this can be an amazing way of what I call making your money work for you. These are things we'd have to buy anyway. I mean, we have to go get new toothpaste every now and then. We have to get, Kristen has to do haircuts. You know, everything that we can find, we put on there just for the points. So we got it in October. Decided to start doing that, and between October and now, we've made 830 points, or $830 worth of points already. So those are the two situations in which I'm okay with you using credit, on top of the situation I talked about yesterday, where while you're digging your way out of this hole and you've got money put back in your savings account, if something happened and you needed to put $50 or $100 on a card currently, then we might have to deal with that for the time being. But the way we sit today, we don't have any real credit card debt. I mean, you can log into Capital One and sure, our dinner from last night's on there, and my gas is going to be on there here in a little bit. You know, so it's never ever really at zero, but we pay it off every week, and that way, when they cut our statement every month, all the purchases have been paid for. But these are two situations that require an immense amount of self-control. You really have to know, you know, can I fit this number into my budget to pay off this Lowe's card, to get my new washing machine? Am I disciplined enough to go in and make a payment every week and not be tempted to buy things that I don't need? Because the card has a $10,000 limit on it. And I mean, some of our worst cases, it gets up near, you know, 300, 400, 500 each. But we don't have any temptation to go out and just start buying stuff that we have no desire or need for. You know, you're not going to see me Foot Locker at Champs buying 10 pairs of shoes just because that would only be about $2,000, and hey, I've got 10,000 right here. Doesn't happen. So I know a lot of this stuff is going to sound very counterintuitive to yesterday, but it's only because there's a very small amount of us that I believe have that discipline to do that. So like when Kristen did the Lowe's card, she went in, signed into the Lowe's account online, added her credit union to it, and set that thing to auto pay every month, and told it to auto pay this amount of money every month. So that way at month 11, it's retired, and then we will cancel that Lowe's card. I don't like having store credit cards. I told you about that yesterday, excuse me. The only thing about like a Lowe's or back in the day Sears is that lenders do look at those as home improvement or emergency fixes, but I still don't like having them. So we're on their joint. It will get canceled when the money's paid off. But those are two really good ways for you all to make your money work for you. Like I know many of you all travel. My friends Drew and Michelle like to travel. My cousin Jacqueline is always going somewhere. This is a way to pay for a lot of that just by spending money that you were going to spend out of your debit card every day anyway. So there are cards for other things. So if you are responsible enough to be able to do this the right way and make sure that only your budget goes on here and then you're paying it off. If you want me to do the research, hit me up. I know they have like dining rewards cards where if you're a big foodie and you eat out a lot, you get like triple your points in restaurants, and then those points can be redeemed for like restaurant gift cards or financial money right to your card balance. So if you need any help picking a category, hit me up. But if 30 of you all hit me up, I'm going to be a little bit weirded out because I just honestly don't think 30 of you can do that. I just really don't. I mean, I look at America as a whole, and I don't see that being doable. So if you're responsible enough to do it, it is a way to live your life and have your money work for you, because everything Christian and I have done since October has almost netted us one plane ticket to Portugal already. I've already looked at the flights, and we are like this close to having a free plane ticket to Portugal just by buying the stuff that we get every day. We just made sure that we put everything we could on there. So it's going to sound a little bit like, what I told you not to do yesterday, but these are two ways that if you get to be to the point where you're very, very, very financially responsible, you should, with the willpower, be able to do this. I guess I should silence my phone for you guys. Sorry. You should be able to get to a point where you can do this and not worry about it. When Kristen and I saw the 12-month no interest, there wasn't even a thought in our head of what's the minimum amount on the credit card going to be? What's our minimum payment? It was, what's the total with tax? Divide that by 11, and then that's getting auto-paid to that card every month. After the 11th payment's paid, we're going to call in, cancel it, shred the card, and move on. This is our whole life card. This is, when we go to the movies and get a popcorn, movie tickets. I even honestly have, when I eBay shoes, I have to pay eBay a fee, and I have to pay for shipping. I have that go to this as well. I mean, like every dollar adds up. So two good ways for you all to do that. And there are cards that aren't just strictly travel rewards cards. And if you need me to do some research for you to help you find one that would maximize the most savings for you, let me know. And then I think we are about ready to start getting into what is by far my favorite part of all this, which is investing. So we'll talk about that next week. We do need to get into some things like health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, where you work, how much you make. I'll probably make that its own little special episode. But the biggest holdback for people making it to retirement with a good amount of money is they don't understand how to invest. And I hear terms like play the market. There is no play. There is you investing in solid, large, profitable American businesses that you can ride their coattails for 20 to 50 years and make a boatload of money while doing it. So we will probably get into investing next week. We're going to have to really cut that up because, like I told y'all before, I have been very bad in the past about dumbing down investing. I tend to start talking about it on a very high level, so I am going to bring it way, way down next week. on the investing piece, how to get started, how it works, what you need to do. And I'm going to give you a lot of background information before we get into things like, opening your account, funding it, all that. I want to make sure that all the terms that you would need to make wise investment decisions are terms that I've got here on my Facebook page that you could go back and re-reference or hit me up later. But that wraps up responsible credit card use, guys. If it's an emergency and there's no interest for a certain period of time, pay that sucker off before it's over with. And if you don't have the willpower to do that, then you can't use the card for the free interest. And living your life on a card with reward points, but being disciplined to pay it off every week. And then since October, earn $830 in plane tickets already is amazing. And those are two things that will really work in your life. But you have to tell yourself, I am not the person I was when I started this journey to better my finances. You have to say, this is the new me that doesn't make those stupid decisions anymore, that doesn't make impulse purchases anymore, and that adheres to their budget and uses this as a tool to make your budget work for you. So you guys have a great weekend, and next week we will get started with investing and just laying the foundation, what you need to know, terms, ratios, things that you'll need. It's not difficult. It's not hard. We're not doing, technical analyst strategy here. And we'll get to that next week, so that when you are looking down the road of the future, I'm going to ask all of you all to pick a couple of companies and put them on like a watch list where you go in and check them from time to time and see what they're doing and how they're doing, which should further motivate you to get into the market. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I know some of you all joined late. I see Tiffany came in late, Eric from the beginning. We're at 17 minutes. It's kind of long, but I just wanted to over and over and over again stress that not everybody can do this. And if you do it, you have to do it the right way. So if you all need me, holler at me, and I will talk to you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend.